Hello everyone, I hope you are all doing well. Today we are going to look at different filters that we can apply on an image. Okay, so first of all we will start our Adobe Creative Cloud and we are going to open Photoshop. That will take time depending upon your system, so let us wait so it can open. Okay, so now it's open. Okay, so we are going to open a file. Okay. Okay, so you can take any image. So now it depends upon image to image. So either you can apply to an image or you can have multiple layers. From there you can apply different filter on the layer. So let us start with, because this is only having one layer, so we are going to apply some filters. So you have different category over here. So for example, if you want, you can apply any filter. Okay, so blur is there. So I undo that. So this is how you can apply single filter on an image. But if you want to apply different filters on same image, you can go to filter gallery. So it will show you the last key. Let us make it smaller. So you can see over here that different filters are available. You can apply different. So depending upon your work, so let us see. Okay, so like this is one filter that I like, for example. Okay, so on the right hand panel you'll find different properties for this filter, which makes it unique for that filter. So based on your requirement or liking, you can choose a filter. Okay, so this is one filter I choose. Okay, and for example I need to add another filter. So how we can do that? Here's a new effect layer. Okay, I can take this as a filter. Now from this, if for example I want to change the layer to texture as break, for example scaling, then I can go to another filter. For example, now let's see, for example another glass texture. Okay, so frosted one. Okay, so you can apply different filters, okay, on top of one image. If you're not satisfied with any filter and you want to see, like, okay, you can drag and drop and change the position to see how it will look like. You can remove a filter to see how your image looks like without that filter. So sometimes, for example, some filter looks different when you change the position of that filter. So this is how you can do that. For example, if you don't like it, you can still delete the filter. Okay, so this is how you can add different textures and filters on top of one, okay, so image. So depending upon the type of filter you choose on the picture, you can then click on OK to save the image. So please remember that to save it in the PSD file. If you are not going to save it in the PSD files, then you cannot revert back to its original image. Okay, so by saving this, you are going to bake in the filters within the image. So rather than doing this, we can play with the smart filters. Okay, so you can undo this. Okay, I'm just going to close it without saving it, and now we are going to have a concept of smart filters. So what are the smart filters? For that, let me open an image. Okay, okay. So now we are going to learn about the smart filter. So this is blurring the background image and giving more attention to the foreground image. Okay, so in the previous section, the filter that we applied on the image, because they were baked in, so we cannot change any filters later on. So that was the problem. So for that, we play with smart filters. Okay, so first open to file. Okay, place embed. Okay, I'm going to embed this image. Okay, so don't forget to use the shift key. Okay, I place it over here for example. Okay, so what I have done, I have placed one picture on top of my background. So background and this car image is my foreground. Okay, so I want to make the background blur, so the first focus of attention will be my foreground. So for that, if you look at over here, we have background and the lock icon is over here. Then this is the second blur image that I have put. I will go to filter. Okay, so by clicking on there, I will go to filter, convert for smart filter. That you have to click. First you have to click on the smart filter. So now you will see that the background layer is changed to layer 0, a special layer where you can embed or you can have different filters. Okay, so now we go to this, we can choose Gaussian blur. So if you look at the image, okay, so here the more blur you want, okay, so do it slowly. If you don't want to see the preview, this will be the actual image and this will be the preview image. So depending upon the radius, how much blur you want, okay, so I'll choose it as a 4. Okay, so now what you can see is the background image gets blur and this thing is more sharper, giving more um, for example, if you say that more focus on this image. Okay, so I can change it over here, so that will give you more idea, or if I change it to a bit bigger, that will give you more idea that it's need some space over here. So see the focus. Now this one, So whenever I want to change, I can come over here, I can change different filters. So by double clicking it, you can open the same filter. If you don't want to see this filter, okay, so you can play with this and you can save it in PSD format, and then you can have different other filters available or apply on an image. Okay, so you can play with this in order to apply different filter. In the previous one we are applying 2 or 3 filters on an image, but over here we are applying a smart filter. Okay, that will be available in filter, smart filter. The beauty is when you apply filters on an image, you are just baking in the filters, but with the smart filter you are actually having an opportunity. So later on you can open the filters and you can change the values and change things in a picture, and that is a much better way to do the filters. Okay, so you can save it as PSD format. Okay, so this is okay. So by doing it later on, when I will be opening the PSD format, so it will open and I can use the filters. Okay, so then you can close this one. Already saved it. Okay, okay, now we are going to look at the gradient concept. So what is gradient? So why we use gradient? So for that, let me create a new file. Okay, so this background color I will make it as white. Okay, I'm just going in with the default settings. Okay, so we have the default settings. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some text. Okay, so for example, hello world. Okay, so you can change the color of the text if you want, for example some other color. Okay, this one. So if I select both the text layer and the background and I use this one, so that is my text is center aligned. So like for example, if I'm creating logo or any banner for any organization or company, so this looks like a simple. So how do we make this thing attractive? For that we use gradient. Okay, so one option is over here, that is the gradient that we can use directly without any problem. Also what you can do is, okay, so we are going to create another layer. For example, if you want it over here, or we can have a layer after this one. Okay, so this one, and we have this tool that is called gradient tool. So what actually gradient do is blending from one color or graduating one color to another color. So here is a gradient tool. If you click here, you will have some presets that are available. For example, we start from here. So color, if you want to change the foreground color, background color, depending upon the need. Okay, so I'm going to change the color from this one, for example. Okay, this point is the half point. Okay, and I'm going to graduate to a little bit of teal color, a bit lighter color. Okay, so what happened is it transformed from this color to this color, so graduating from purple to a bit of teal color. Okay, So now after I have graduated the colors from this to this, now this is the option of reverse, because I don't want to reverse color, so I'm just going to look at it. So these are the preset that are available, like if you want linear gradient, radial gradient, angle gradient. So these are some presets. Okay, so first we look at this one. So you can click on your shift key and press this one. Okay, so if we change a layer over here, okay, so this is how it looks like. So starting from the purplish color and blending into the teal color. Okay, so this is how it works. If you don't want it, for example, um, just change this thing. I need this thing, and I will click on shift, and I want in this location. Okay, so this, if you look at it from here, the color from the middle, it is having purplish color, and it is going towards teal on the other edges of the. So you can play with these. The reason I was doing the shift was so now you can see the color ranges. It is having a pattern of purple and then moving towards steel. So you can, it's not necessary in any direction you can put. So you will have an idea how you can do that. So blending options are there. If I want a reverse, for example, I don't need this color, for example. Okay, again this one. Okay, so I will be putting it reverse, and then you can have different blends or shades that you can blend in within the image, just to give more attractiveness rather than a plain text. So that is why how you use gradient in images. So this is one way. The other way is already, as I discussed, is the other option that is over here. So from here you can change the gradients. So it's already there, so I just going to click. It's not necessary that you do with this one layer. You can have different layers, and you can play with these options in order to get the desired output, or which you feel more satisfied about the image. So this is the way we do gradient. Okay, so you can save this image if you are happy with the image. Okay, so that is gradient. So you can add, you can play with the other options that are available. I just showed you how we can have a quick gradient view on the image. You can do it on any image, not only text, but you can do it on the image as well. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the tools. Shape tool. So we are going to create a new. Okay, so here we have the shape tool. Okay, so first is the rectangle one. So this is, you can create a rectangle. If you want to change the color, you can change the color. This is the way you can choose the color picker. So in my case, I have already a color picker available over here, so I can use this one if I want to. So this is if you have to have a stroke type. Okay, so depending upon what type of stroke you want to have, you can use this one. Okay, so this is There's different options you can play with. Line, if you want dotted lines, this one. So you can use this one. Okay, so creating a rectangle, I don't want to create a new rectangle, so depending upon the things you can use. If you're going to use the shift key, so it will create an square. Okay, okay, black is too dark. Okay, now if you want an ellipse tool, okay, so ellipse tool is there, you can use that. If you're going to use the shift key, it will create a circle. Same happen with the line tool, you can create a line. Okay, but if you're going to use the shift key, so you can change the line. So 45 degrees you can change the line. Instead of a normal line, if you're creating a normal line, you can rotate in any direction, but when you are using it with the shift, it will rotate it with 45 degrees angle. And every shape will be having a separate layer, so which layer you don't want, you can delete that layer. Okay, so line layer you can delete, or so on. So this is how to play with different options. So you can go through different options where you want the alignment of that. For example, if you want the alignment, why it's not working? Okay, so you have to play both. So if you want the alignment in the center, so you can play with different uh, tools that are available within this tool, because the more you are going to play with all the options, then you will be getting the exact idea how or the things will look at it, rather than explaining each and everything will be very difficult. So I hope you enjoyed to learn those different techniques from this tool Photoshop. Okay, you should be taking care of yourself. Okay, see you next time.